Hey everybody, X81X here, and on the tubes today I just want to be making a quick video about what's going to happen. I'm not going to get it on video, but I just want to show you what I currently have going on. Yes, I did not make a full review on the inside, outside, and upside down of this vehicle, but what we have here is a 1966 Corvette Stingray 327, 305 horsepower, original numbers matching, vintage, trapped in time Corvette Stingray. My brother-in-law, off camera, took the carburetor off, and he is currently coming today and going to put it back on, get everything up and running, and double check what he has to double check as far as this, that. You got your fuel line here, you have your accelerator rod here, what's that, whatever the technical term is. You got something there, and then very carefully you have the top of the engine into the top of the head and some vacuum port, and you don't want anything going in any of this stuff. So that's about it for right now. I cannot turn it over, cannot do anything, because as soon as you touch it, fuel's gonna come spitting out of here. Oh, and here's some kind of weird spring for whatever again. So there'll be another video of it either running, done, and pictures for myself of the nice new brand new carb. Obviously I took pictures looking just like this for myself, and yes, one of the next things to do is to try to see what I could do with that. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, and thanks for watching my channel. Hey everybody, XJoe81X here, and August 5th, 2019. I just want to piggyback after the video you just watched. Okay, you watched about a minute and a half of me introducing the fact that the carburetor was on its way back. Well, we had a problem. Of course, there's always effing problems. Okay. Okay, so in a nutshell, the carburetor was taken apart and the carburetor was cleaned. Jesus. The carburetor was cleaned, right? Okay, perfect. So what happened after that is, after the carburetor was installed and it was all set up, I went for a test drive, and the rear boosters started leaking after they opened up. Okay, this is a two in the front and two in the back. The two in the back open up after a certain amount of vacuum, and I'm not going to tell you the semantics of a carburetor. What I am going to show you real quick, if I can, is what happened to it, and I will explain what you see. What you see here is a 1966 to 1968 to 70 Holly carburetor. So basically it was taken apart and it was put back together. That's why the bottom plate is silver, and this middle plate is also silver. It was cast and beaded and blasted, and everything after that is original. The inside float adjusters. So what happens is, after it got back, we turned it over, it started leaking out of these two ports right here. Okay? These are called sight glasses. But the problem is there's no glass anymore. There's brass rings the size of a dime. Well, when you take these 4 screws off and you take this plate off, you can access that in there. If you put that in the wrong way, then you have a problem. Also, this is factory clamped. This piece and this piece is a cylinder, 2 halves, and they're factory sealed. So this original brass rings are sealed originally. So if you don't disturb them, it's hard to put them back. So we went through 2 or 3 of them, and they were still leaking. So this is called JB Weld. This is an automotive JB Weld where the brass ring is set in a little bit. So you take a little bit and you push it in, and now you see just a little bit of the brass ring. So halfway, when that starts to cure, then you take a glob of it with your finger and you push it in, and then you make it as nice as you can. A lot of people do that. When I started the camera, you didn't even know what color the carburetor was. It could have been purple. Unfortunately, it is what it is. It's just the way it happens. There's nothing you could do as far as why it does this or why it does that, you know. So it went back, and then this, you know, this was done, and then we came back. It came back a little while later, and it was everything was getting connected. I want, you know, just to listen. There's a vacuum here. There's a vacuum there. There's this here. There's the spring there, and it's being adjusted. Right? And next thing you know, everything's working fine. I go for a test drive, and like I said in the beginning, the back to the pump, this is the boosters inside. I'll show you in a second. And this is the front, and this is the back. The front operates at all times, running the car. The back only opens up after a certain amount of RPMs, depending on the vacuum and the load and the type of engine and car. So when I start this in a little bit, you're going to see, well, you might see, hopefully with a flashlight, you're going to see these 2 front bowls spraying. And you're going to see this choke plate. This is why the choke plate is here, because this is the main, you know, the main entrance of the car. The back is secondary. So when you get on it, after a certain amount of RPMs, or if you beat the shit out of the car, then it engages. I won't be able to mimic engaging it here in a sense because I'm not going to. Because that's not what I do. I don't know how to engage it. You know, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to stuff. I don't know anything. So that's about it. And we went for a test drive, and we really beat the crap out of it. And the secondaries opened up because the person I was with knows about cars. And I don't know, the secondary opened up because I was watching the road and shifting from second to third to fourth. So I don't know. But they opened up because he was watching the RPMs, and he was in the car, and he felt the car. You feel it move. It goes, it's like, you know, leading up to the secondaries, it's probably like, you know, whang, and then after the secondaries, it's almost like a, but it's not that big. Not that much, because it's only a 327, so it's a small block V8, so it's not like a, you know, like a rocket ship. I probably never even would notice if you got rid of this fuel rail right here and you just made the primaries, and I probably would never even know that the secondaries even engage. Sometimes that's what he says. He says sometimes you don't even know that the secondaries engage, you know, so. But again, I don't know what any of this stuff is. It all means something, plates and pressures, and it is what it is. I'll take the camera off real quick and show you what's going on, and then we'll start it, you know, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so here we have the accelerator that comes off the pedal. It comes up, it does something here. There's a screw there, screw everybody. There's a screw here, you know. There's these are the sights. Here's what it actually looks like, really up close. We don't know if the top was dripping, so they just JB welded that. There's the fuel rail that goes to the secondary. Here's the first JB Weld. Here's the master fuel line that goes up and makes everything purty. Here's the choke plate. There's the boosters, the front. You can't see because of the plate, but they look like that. And it ends up spraying when this activates. This is the float valve adjustment. You take this off and there's a screw in there, and if you don't know about carburetors, there's some kind of thing that does this. It pivots. It's called a float valve. It talks to the engine about, you know, how much air to fuel mixture. That's about it on this side. And you have a bunch of fancy stuff on the passenger side. That's what I was talking about, the two different colors, because it was just sanded, because the two plates needed to talk to each other with the new grommet. And then I told you the bottom piece, it was blasted too, because underneath it was like not sanded, but was flattened, so the seal from the head to this seal would be a better surface with no grit and grime. But I don't know, everything else is irrelevant, because this thing you hit, that goes into the top of the body, the head. There's vacuum here. This looks like a bladder of some sorts, but then there's a little Jimmy Johnson rod here. Again, totally amazing how when you take it off, when you looked at the beginning of the video, as far as the fuel goes in there, and the fact that it just works. So I'm gonna put the black thing back on, and then I'll start it. So again, I'll start it. I'll let it run for a minute. I'll probably shut the camera or kill it, whatever. We're already at 10 minutes. It was ran yesterday. It sat in the sun for a little bit because I was trying to clean the tires, and the head gets very hot and it cooks the fuel that's in the carburetor before it evaporates. So it ran like a real bag, pulling it in, which should mean that it shouldn't run like crap now, but it should actually high idle and be extremely obnoxious for a minute or two. Always make sure you're in neutral. We're gonna go like 3. Let it idle for about a minute or two, and then I'll kick it down. Stand by. Okay, that should be plenty, because it's also 80-90 degrees outside. Up and rising in temp. Oil's good. half a tank and the battery is irrelevant. No tack because we're not revving it. I'm sorry, speed, and there's the tack. So like 8 or 9. I'll give you a couple of good revs and then I'm going to shut it off. I can mimic the fuel. Watch right there. Well, I shut it off before the camera, so I'll turn it back on and then I'll shut it off. Should turn one key. Well, that's going to wrap up today's little venue. Again, I'm very sorry that I did not go over the car as far as interior, exterior, in and out. I just wanted to document the carburetor and the stuff like that when it comes to the carburetor. Going to wrap this up. Please, thank you, hit like, hit subscribe. Any other comments or questions, feel free. And hopefully I get to enjoy this from August until it snows. Thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next video.